My name's Paul Byrne from Aughrim in Wicklow. What I see happening in this country at the moment is we're seeing the results of we're seeing how we don't want to live. Things are getting very bad in this country, economically, societally, culturally. We're being pushed into a corner, and people are at their wits' end. And I believe, as bad as that is, things like this unfortunately have to happen so that we can be faced with an extreme way of living and learn a lesson, all of us, from seeing that, so that we can see how we really don't want to live, because people can see this situation now is not what we want. It's not the way we want to spend our lives or the lives we want for our children. So the question becomes, what do we do about it, and how can we change this? I've spoken to a lot of people over the last year especially, who are really saying that they feel it's in them, and it's in the Irish people, that there's a far better way to live in this country. We didn't always live. The Irish people never really had any money. We had a lot of money for a short few years, and we all seem to agree it didn't really suit us. Not that being poor suits us either, but having too much money makes us forget who we really are and what we really want and how to live. So I hear people asking three main questions, and it's great that people are asking these questions. Who am I? Where am I? And what do I actually want? And when you ask those questions, it leads you down, a path that you have to be honest with yourself to address, because you can be anything, you can go anywhere if you just are brave enough to do it. So the question becomes, how do we change our direction of this country, and what direction do we want to change it to? And I think that, like I said, it's a learning experience. We're now been exposed to, I think a phrase that we used before chatting about this is, a terrible beauty is born. There's a terrible, horrible situation facing us, but there's a beauty in it, in that it's a learning experience. So I see everything that happens as necessary. Unfortunately, some horrible things have to happen, and more horrible things will happen. But as long as we learn from them and try to rebound societally and consciously to the other extreme, towards the good, I think that we have a possibility to turn this recession into a renaissance. And I think that the way we do that is to play to our strengths. The Irish are very creative, very lyrical, very musical, very poetic, very hard workers, very honest, by and large. There are some dishonest people, of course, as there always are, but overall in the population we have so much talent, latent talent. We don't have any ability for it to come out. There's no conduit for it, no outlet for it. And if there was, I think that we'd see a flowering of so much creativity playing to our strengths, that we could really turn this situation into an amazing situation, have a new renaissance. And a way we tried to, myself and a few of my friends have tried to go about that, is through playing to our strengths, have a festival. We had a festival lately, which is a festival of music and arts in Aughrim, where I'm from, a not-for-profit festival. We invited in a lot of local musicians, some Irish musicians, up-and-coming artists. We had food and craft fairs, organic and wild food, and we called the festival Crack in the Granite, and it was just a bit of crack. Not-for-profit, fun time for people to have, and also built around good quality music and food. Our ancestors used to have a festival every 6 weeks on the significant parts of the year. Life was more enjoyable, not to hark back idealistically, untruly, to a time that never happened, but they didn't have this capitalist, materialist drive. They were more about living life, and living life means being aware of your surroundings, of the food around you, the medicine around you, your community. The most important thing is community, and that's what we've nearly forgotten in this country, and that's our strongest strength. People always say about the Irish, they're so friendly when people come from other countries. The Irish are really friendly. There's such a welcome. Céad míle fáilte. It's very true. So our community, our food, our music, our creativity, our culture is what's going to save us, I really believe. And if we use those, get back into our communities and start building new structures from the ground up, that's how we can get out of this mess, and I'm convinced we can. I feel optimistic about the future, even though it's looking bleak at times.
What can a new Ireland look like in, say, 20 or 50 years? What's possible?
Everything is possible, I think. I mean, one thing that this country could do is have everything grows in this country. So I mean, in a scary way, that's why we're under attack. This country's been asset stripped because it's so rich in assets. Agriculture is our main industry, and it can be so much bigger. We can grow so many valuable crops. We could restart our sugar beet industry, have our sugar. We could have sugar as a biofuel. We could grow hemp. You can make 25,000 industrial products from hemp. You can make medicine from hemp. But also we can.
Isn't hemp illegal, or what's the status of that?
Well, the industrial hemp isn't illegal. You can grow it under license, but it doesn't seem to have the potential of it as an industrial product hasn't been realised or picked up on in this country. So if you're talking about ways to get out of a recession, economically, that's one good one. Another thing we can use in this country large scale is permaculture, because it's so much more productive than regular agriculture, and it doesn't use pesticides, doesn't use herbicides, and it also can employ many people. Organic food is a huge growth industry because people are realising, especially in this country as well, the additives in our food, the processed food, is making us sick. Ireland's a really sick nation, and it doesn't have to be. Perfect health is a state that we can all aspire to, we should aspire to, and it really goes back to the food. If you eat organic, clean, good quality food, so many health conditions disappear or don't occur in the first place. So that realisation is slowly dawning on people, not just in Ireland but across Europe. And Ireland has the potential to be the organic centre for the world, or for Europe. Sorry, we can really be an example. It's just about the willpower and about realisation. But as to what Ireland can be in 20 years, I really believe that the time we're in the world at the moment is a time of huge potential. There's a rise in awareness, a rise in consciousness. Consciousness is the only limit on how far that can go is your imagination, and your imagination is infinite. There's no limit on imagination. So it's up to what we can create. So I wouldn't put a limit and say in 20 years' time we'll be in this place or that place, because I don't know. I think I have certain ideas of where we can be, but I know as well that the generations of kids coming up behind have more ideas, and each generation that comes up is exponentially more creative. So we can go anywhere, really. It's up to everybody to dispel the apathy and form closer ties with their communities, because that's the way to do it.